This video is sponsored by Silverstone. The innovative Ice Mist all-in-one cooler allows you to stack RGB fans on the water block, which can easily direct airflow to any hotspots on the motherboard, VRMs, or DRAM. Pick up the Ice Mist AIO today and equip your PC with this unique high-performance cooler.
Hey PC World fans, Adam here with arguably the most important person at CES 2024. We got Jared Walton from Tom's Hardware.
I thought you were going to say Lisa Sue.
No, she was here earlier. I couldn't get an interview with her, so
She won't even walk by our background.
I know, yeah. Well, but you're here to answer a question for me. So now with the announcements we got from CES, I truly feel like we now have the full stack of 40 series on the NVIDIA side, full stack of the Radeon 7000 series. ARC is probably not going to have another A series card coming out.
I hope Battlemage comes out this year.
Yeah. But for this foreseeable future, at least probably 6 months, we've got the cards that we've got, unless there's some unforeseen craziness. How do you think we are with the state of GPUs right now?
Things got better. So the 4070 Super is probably going to land pretty close to 4070 Ti, but at the 4070 price point. The 4070 got $50 cheaper, which it was already that cheap as long back as Black Friday. I saw it for $515.
Okay.
So I feel
it's official now.
I feel like the 4070 needs to go closer to 500 because I think the Super is going to be about 20% faster. Therefore, $50 more. That's less than 10% more for 20% more performance.
That'd be nice.
I think the retail price on the 4070 will still come down a bit more from $549.
Oh.
The 4070 Ti Super, you got 4 GB more memory. You got 33% more memory with the more bandwidth. Probably 10% more compute, I think, is what the T-Flops numbers said. Mm-hmm. So same price, more compute, more memory. That's a good thing. It's still expensive. $799 is a lot for a GPU.
That is a lot.
If you went back 10 years, that was more than any GPU except a Titan.
Oh yeah.
In fact, if you went back to the 10 series, it's more than any GPU.
More than the 1080 Ti.
Yeah. So, but those chips have kind of sailed. Prices have gone up, and I wish there were a faster 4090 Super, 4090 Ti, whatever. I don't think that's happening because I've heard from multiple people here, the AI startups, they're buying the 4090s. So you want to know why 4090s cost $2,000 and up now? It's the AI. The AI PC, but not the AI PC. It's just the AI.
Boom.
Yeah. 4080 Super it's the boring update. The price came down. That's good.
Yeah. Well, no. So what I heard is that by painting it black, they save $200, and then they're passing it on to us.
Yeah. No.
So right.
These cards, have you seen them in person?
Yeah.
They're really black.
They're really black.
When I was trying to get pictures of the 4070 Super, I'm like, man, you got to angle that just right in the light so that you can see the 4070.
Yeah. Even the wording, you would think the wording would be white to try to pop it out, but nope, the whole thing.
There's
so they
no
save
RGB.
money. They save. No. I thought the top end one saw.
Well, I'm saying the 4070 Super, no RGB.
Yeah.
That's really a sad thing for Gordon, probably.
I know, right? Yeah, he loves his RGB. Well, so you think prices are still too high all around? Actually, first before we get to that, is NVIDIA sticking around with the non-super versions?
Yes and no. So 4070 stays around. It drops $50 in the MSRP. 4070 Ti goes away, replaced by the 4070 Ti Super, and the 4080 is also being phased out. NVIDIA has said this.
They'll be around in the channel for at least a little bit, right?
Yeah, until they sell out, right?
Yeah.
And this is the thing, you no longer pay more than maybe $899 for a 4080, is my opinion. I'm like, if you can get a faster card for $999, there's no reason to buy a 4080 for less than...
How long do you think they stick around? How long until it flushes out of the system?
I feel like the 4080's already been clearing out.
Really? Oh, okay.
Because it's the same GPU as the 4080 Super. That's why I said it was a boring update. So price came down, but you went from 76 streaming multiprocessors and however many CUDA cores that is, to 80 streaming multiprocessors and 10 240 CUDA cores, and it's a 5% increase. And so it's they had enough 8103 that would get there that they maxed out 8103 with the 4080 Super. But it's still very incremental. And then you've got 4070 Ti Super is also 8103. So now you've got your maxed out 8103 and you've got your 4070 Ti Super 8103, and there's really no reason to have a 4080 in between.
Well, maybe a 7900 XTX. So I feel like on the AMD side, it's still interesting, but at least those top end cards have been coming down slowly, right?
Yeah, so 7900 XTX, last I looked at prices, had gone back up since Black Friday.
Oh, really? Oh.
Lowest price I saw last week was $960.
Okay, well, would you rather have a 7900? I know you haven't tested the 4080 Super, but based off of what you have right now, would you rather have a 4080 Super or a 7900 XTX?
You know, it's apples and oranges a bit. You have to decide what you want.
I'm putting you on the spot here.
There's a lot to get in the NVIDIA ecosystem that's proprietary. The proprietary BS that people hate, but I'm like, look, DLSS is a thing and it's good, and you can't run it on AMD. And FSR2 isn't the same as DLSS, and FSR3 frame generation is only in like 4 games right now, and supposedly 20 coming, but DLSS 3 frame generations and more. And so, and AI. Like, if you have an interest in AI, you got to go NVIDIA. And I like AI. Like, I play around with it. So I would probably personally, if I were spending $1,000, I probably wouldn't spend $1,000, but I would maybe lean toward the 4080 Super. It's tough because you go, I get like, what is it, 50% more memory. But the NVIDIA ecosystem is real.
It's hard to juggle. Well,
I keep on waiting for more ray tracing games that wow me, and they keep on not coming very fast. So,
well, on the other end of the spectrum, the 7600 XT, priced, way more affordable than a 4080 Super.
Yes.
How do you think that plays in that ballgame now, especially with A770 has definitely come down, drivers have gotten better. I mean, I still feel like it's probably better than whatever NVIDIA has to offer to a certain degree.
Yeah, so
you can get 16 gigs of RAM for half the price of the next 16 gig RAM NVIDIA card.
Yeah, so this is the thing. So we criticized the NVIDIA RTX 4060 Ti 8GB because it only was 8GB, and that felt like a slap in the face. Then they had the 16GB, and we criticized that too because we said, you're trying to charge $100 more for 8GB more memory. That's a ripoff.
And the bus width is too narrow still.
And it's still a 128-bit. Well, AMD's charging $70 extra for 8GB, and NVIDIA's 4060 Ti 16 dropped so that the delta's only $50. So it's like, okay, I want the 7600 XT to be $299, not $329. Is that unrealistic? I don't think so, but it'll be okay because it's got higher clocks and it's got more TDP to work with. So even if your games, what you're doing doesn't need the extra memory, you should get maybe like a 10-ish% boost is what I'm expecting. AMD's numbers showed higher than that, but it's AMD's numbers, so you gotta expect they're showing their best foot forward.
Well, you would hope, maybe.
Forza Horizon 5, I test that. It's in my test suite. It really likes VRAM at extreme settings. So that was one of their exceptional cases where it's like 45% faster than the 8 gig. Most games will not be that way.
Yeah. Well, what about the bus width?
So it's still 128-bit, right?
Yeah, and we had an interview with Aaron at AMD here, and he was saying it's probably going to run out of compute sooner than it's going to run out of bus width.
Yeah,
would you agree?
Yeah, because that's my thing. Is I'm like, I feel like 12GB is a sweet spot on a 192-bit bus. Like, it's enough to run most games at 1440p and even 4K. But 4K, you run out of compute, and to get to where you need 16 gig of RAM, I'm like, you're basically often looking at 4K, and I'm like, yeah, 7600 XT doesn't have the compute to really, especially in modern games like Avatar, which is an AMD promoted game. It can use more memory, but it's not going to run well on a 7600 XT at 4K unless you turn on frame gen and FSR3 performance mode.
But even then,
so like, it's fine. I don't think it's amazing. It's not bad. Like, you've got now an option. Do you want a 16 gigabyte 329 card? Do you want a 8 gigabyte 299 or 259 card? Whatever it is, 259.
Yep.
It's not 290. against the 4060 is going to be the real question. If they were the same price, $299 for a 4060 or $299 for a 7600 XT, I think you can make a really strong argument for AMD. When it's $30 extra, then you start going, well, okay, you can still probably go with AMD, but the TDP is also in 190 watts versus 120, 125 on a 4060. So it's, and ray tracing, if you care about that on a budget card, which you probably shouldn't. So it's still DLSS though.
So it sounds like things are still a little hairy. Even though we've got a clearer picture, it's still harder than ever to kind of make decisions on what you should get.
I think, so like if you've got all the money, you get the 4090. If you've got $1,000, it's a toss-up, like 4080 Super or 7900 XT. I mean, like XTX.
Yep.
And then 7900 XT is like, I think they're around 760-ish. So they're only like 7% slower than the XTX. And so the XT still has a reason to recommend it. Now it goes up against the 4070 Ti Super, and so that becomes, I can see a lot of people, like people love to hate on NVIDIA, but the gamers overwhelmingly choose NVIDIA.
They still keep buying them.
Yep, there's still like 85, like if you only look at the last 3 generations of hardware on the Steam hardware survey, it's like 85%, 80, even more NVIDIA, so.
Just the truth?
Yeah. I looked at Steam hardware survey recently. According to their numbers, which we don't know how they get their numbers, so grains of salt, more 4090s have been bought for Steam than Steam Decks.
Which, yeah.
That's according to their percentages.
It's true.
So that's surprising. Like that says
That is
a lot of
surprising.
people have bought 4090s and 4070s and 4070 Ti's and 4080. Like millions of these have been sold.
Yeah. Well, then you'd have to think about, okay, how many people who own a Steam Deck didn't allow it into the hardware survey. It's probably
that's the statistics that we don't know about.
Yeah.
If they're doing random sampling like they should, Valve, do random sampling and tell us you do random sampling.
Yeah.
If they're doing it right, then we can trust the numbers. If they're not doing it right, which I often wonder, then it's hard to say. But it's the best we've got to go off of.
Okay. Anyway, we're way off course here.
Yes.
Jared, I think we both got a little bit of drinks in us.
I don't drink.
Oh, you don't drink.
It's the Coke.
It's the caffeine. You're just like amped up.
It's been a long day.
Yeah. It has been a long day. CES is still continuing. Thank you for chatting with me about this stuff. I feel like I don't have a clearer picture than when I came into it. I guess I'll just keep going to your website.
Yeah.
Your GPU hierarchy. No, GPU
benchmarks
hierarchy. Love that. Keep going. Yeah,
it's
I know it's a lot of work.
Some updates this month, man. A lot of updates.
Nice.
Got 4 new GPUs to test.
Yeah, you got to slot them in there. And luckily, you've been pushing some of the real old GPUs off, and soon Vega, soon.
So at some point, I'm probably going to draw the line at like GTX 10 and maybe, like Vega's sort of in that nebulous driver range now, so I could drop it. RDNA and later, maybe.
Maybe.
But I know people love the old GPUs because you can't do ray tracing on them, so they can't play in that part of the hierarchy, but it's still important to see hey, I've got a 580 or I've got a GTX 980, how high up do I want to go?
Yeah, no, it's a valuable tool. I look at it all the time. I actually think I might have it benchmarked on Chrome because I'm always cross-referencing it. Thank you for chatting with me.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing all the good work. And thank you for watching and subscribing here on PC World. Go over to Tom's Hardware. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell.
Leave a comment below.
Down below. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you in the next video.